Welcome to Fun Facts Daily, your source for just the good stuff. Monday through Friday, we're bringing fun facts and news you can use, all carefully curated to uplift and inform. So give yourself a break, relax, and learn something awesome in just a few minutes every day. Hi everyone, I'm Kyle Wood, and today we're going to be learning all about Joshua Norton, the man who made a small fortune off commodities and real estate speculation in the early 1850s, and then lost it all and went bankrupt in 1856. Things took a really unexpected turn, though, when he boldly declared himself Emperor of the United States in 1859. And in 1866, he added the secondary title, Protector of Mexico. Needless to say, the man led an interesting life. But before we get into the facts, let's warm up our brains with a little challenge to see if you can tell fact from fiction. Consider this. When Joshua Norton, the self-declared Emperor of the United States, needed money, he designed his own currency and had it printed with banknotes ranging from 50 cents to $10. Would you believe businesses in San Francisco actually accepted Emperor Norton's imperial currency and even exchanged it for official United States currency upon request? What do you think? Is this an actual fact or just too good to be true? We'll find out at the end of the episode. Now for your word of the day. Our word for today is eccentricity. That's ECCENTRICITY. The word eccentricity is a noun referring to a quality of being unconventional, peculiar, or departing from established norms, particularly in human behavior. In psychological terms, it describes individuals who display whimsical or unusual habits without possessing a mental illness. Throughout history, society has often tolerated, even celebrated these unique behaviors when they don't cause harm to others. The word eccentricity comes from the Greek words ek, meaning out of, and kentron, meaning center. It entered the English language through medieval Latin and French as an astronomical term used to describe orbits that were not perfectly circular. By the year 1685, scientists were using the term eccentricity to describe paths that deviated from a true center point. It wasn't until the 19th century that English speakers began to apply the word to human behavior, perfectly capturing individuals who operate outside the traditional center of societal expectations. Time for your daily high five, our top 5 fun facts about Emperor Norton. Number 1. A U.S. federal census officially recorded Joshua Norton's occupation as emperor. In 1870, a federal census taker walked the streets of San Francisco to document the local population. When he interviewed Joshua Norton at his boarding house, he recorded Norton's occupation as emperor on the official government document. The census entry also noted that Norton was 50 years old, born in England, and lived in a single room with minimal personal property. Norton appears to be the only citizen in the history of the United States federal census to ever have his occupation officially recorded as emperor. The inclusion of this title in a federal archive shows just how deeply the city of San Francisco embraced Norton's alternate reality. Government officials usually reject fraudulent titles, but in this case, the local census worker chose to honor Norton's requested designation. It shows that his title was not just a joke among friends, it was recognized and accepted by the community, businesses, and to some extent, even the government. Number 2. A local security guard once arrested Emperor Norton, sparking a massive public outrage and a formal apology from the chief of police. In 1867, a local special officer named Armand Barbier arrested Joshua Norton on charges of vagrancy and involuntary confinement for mental illness. The arrest caused a massive public outcry across the city of San Francisco. Local newspapers published fierce editorials condemning the arrest, noting that Norton had never harmed anyone or stolen any property. The police chief, Patrick Crowley, quickly ordered the emperor's release and issued an official public apology on behalf of the entire police department. Emperor Norton responded by magnanimously granting a full imperial pardon to the officer who arrested him. Following the event, the city's police force instituted a policy where all officers offered a formal military salute to Norton whenever he passed them on the streets. While Norton had lost his fortune and his self-proclaimed title made him more than a little eccentric, he seemed to be genuinely concerned with the community's well-being, and they protected him in return. Number 3. Emperor Norton wore an elaborate military uniform gifted to him by the United States Army. Norton walked the streets of San Francisco every day wearing a blue military uniform with gold-plated epaulets and a beaver hat decorated with a peacock feather. When his original uniform began to fray and deteriorate in 1862, the officers stationed at the Presidio Army Base in San Francisco stepped in. They ordered a custom army uniform for the emperor and presented it to him in a formal ceremony so he could maintain his imperial appearance. The Board of Supervisors of San Francisco later provided a secondary public allowance specifically for his wardrobe maintenance. The uniform made Norton stand out as he attended public events, political rallies, and theater openings. The city's finest restaurants would proudly reserve a table and serve a free meal to the emperor because his seal of approval held sway with the public. The emperor, in his signature uniform, became a symbol of quality that everyone in the city recognized. Number 4. Emperor Norton used his public platform to advocate for the rights of minorities. During the 1870s, San Francisco experienced severe economic tension that led to frequent violent anti-Chinese demonstrations. Emperor Norton repeatedly issued official imperial decrees condemning the violence and demanding equal legal protection for Chinese immigrants. He sent his proclamations to the local newspapers, which published his calls for fair labor practices and racial harmony. In April of 1878, he went so far as to issue an edict banning specific anti-Chinese political meetings in the city. Records show that Norton even went so far as to attend a hostile gathering led by the anti-immigrant agitator Dennis Kearney to challenge his rhetoric directly. His continuous defense of Chinese, African American, and Native American citizens was highly unusual for the era. The emperor had the courage to stand up advocating for social justice during a period of widespread discrimination, and that's probably why he was so beloved by many throughout the city. And our fifth and final fun fact for today: more than 10,000 people attended Emperor Norton's funeral procession. On January 8, 1880, Joshua Norton collapsed on a San Francisco street corner while walking to a lecture at the California Academy of Sciences. He died before reaching the hospital, leaving behind a personal estate that consisted of just a few dollars and a collection of walking sticks. The local media published the news of his death on the front page of newspapers using large headlines that read, quote, "The king is dead." The citizens of San Francisco refused to let the emperor receive a pauper's burial in a potter's field. A wealthy local businessman's club paid for a rosewood casket and a grand funeral service at the Masonic Cemetery. The funeral procession stretched for over 2 miles through the streets of San Francisco as people from all over the city and all walks of life came out to pay their final respects. In 1934, when the city relocated its cemeteries, they moved his remains to Woodlawn Cemetery and installed a large granite marker reading Norton I, Emperor of the United States. Now for some news you can use. While I would never advocate for giving yourself a made-up title or printing fraudulent currency, there is something we can all learn from Emperor Norton. Anyone can be a leader and make positive change in their community. Joshua Norton secured the lasting affection of San Francisco because he dedicated his daily routine to active public service. He walked the city streets to inspect the physical condition of public pathways, streetlights, and transit infrastructure, reporting maintenance and safety issues to the government. Norton also regularly attended local city council meetings and school board sessions to advocate for civic improvements and the protection of vulnerable populations. His constant presence and genuine concern for his community made him a vital component of the city's social fabric. You can help your community by addressing local needs as you see them. Start by looking in your neighborhood and consider something like organizing friends and neighbors to clean up a local park or volunteer at a food bank. Participating in neighborhood associations and attending local government forums allows you to give constructive feedback to those in power. Remember, big improvements come from small, regular efforts. And doing good for others will help you too. Scientific research consistently shows that acts of altruism and community orientation provide physiological and psychological benefits to the individual performing them. Helping others triggers the production of endorphins, creating a sensation known as the helper's high. It causes your brain to release oxytocin and dopamine, which reduces vascular inflammation and lowers blood pressure to support long-term cardiovascular health. And individuals who engage in regular community service show significantly lower levels of the stress hormone cortisol. Long-term studies show consistent altruistic behavior is correlated with a reduced risk of depression and increased longevity, meaning it'll help you live a happier and longer life. Finally, the moment you've been waiting for. At the beginning of the episode, I asked, did businesses in San Francisco actually accept Emperor Norton's imperial currency and even exchange it for real US currency? Believe it or not, that's a fact. When Joshua Norton lost his personal fortune in a failed business venture, he designed his own imperial banknotes. Local printers produced these for him, complete with an image of Norton, handwritten serial numbers, and his official seal. Local restaurants, theaters, and shops throughout San Francisco routinely honored these imperial notes and exchanged them for official U.S. currency because the community collectively agreed to back the value of Norton's printed paper. Now, you may be wondering why local businesses would accept a fake currency. Simply put, they saw real value in it. Because Norton was such a beloved figure in the community, his endorsement could influence others to patronize a business. Restaurants frequently commissioned custom brass plaques to hang by their doors, stating that they operated, quote, by appointment of His Imperial Majesty. Theaters also routinely held front row or balcony seats for Norton on every opening night. It was a mutually beneficial relationship where the city's elite businesses subsidized the emperor's daily lifestyle in exchange for his public endorsement. Norton took this role seriously, checking the quality of the food and the decor during his visits to ensure they met his royal standards. And newspapers frequently reported on his attendance at these high society events. So shops were willing to pay real money for his, quote, imperial currency because hanging it in the window would signal some status to the community and draw in curious tourists. And his money still holds some value. While not a lot of his banknotes survive today, collectors will regularly pay thousands of dollars for a bit of Norton's imperial currency. Now, I hope you enjoyed learning a bit about Joshua Norton, Emperor of the United States and Protector of Mexico with me today, and be sure to tune in every weekday for even more fun facts. Fun Facts Daily is an Airwave Media podcast. It was written, recorded, mixed, and edited by me, Kyle Wood. Thanks for sharing a part of your day with me. Be sure to follow Fun Facts Daily on your favorite podcast app so you can keep the good stuff coming your way every day. And if you like the show, please do me a favor and leave a kind rating, review, or just tell your friends about it.